Hello, this is another Fixed Virus show. So we'll start with the bumper music, the fancy sticks, and basically I'm updating my top 30 security links, and I also am adding a demon hunter look to our endeavor here. Anyway, I'm into some anime, but we can just maybe I can talk about anime another time. But the main thing today is we're updating the security links. So I found this site called offsec.blog or offsec security. Well, yeah, it's an offsec.blog. It's offensive security. It's located at offsec.blog. So here's the site. It has a lot of videos, and that's important these days because that's how a lot of people get their information. And I looked through a couple of these, and they're very, very good. And I did listen to a couple of them. So, especially the one about Active Directory. And the guys are basically giving detailed information about how to protect your networks. Here's another one: how Active Directory certificates become active threats. So each and every one of these seems like it has a couple of nuggets in there which you can use to defend your network. Now I'm going to be going through them to obviously help my clients and my partners to give them any details that we may not have had or maybe we overlooked. I especially like the one about the Active Directory, which apparently is from earlier on this year. Yeah, so they update it every week, one podcast a week. So there's quite a few of them in here. There's a lot. If you're catching up, there's 50 blogs a year. So that's a lot to catch up on, especially since I believe they're like over like an hour. So it's quite an endeavor of mine to double check it all. Anyway, I wanted to have a couple of different computers here. So okay, so let's go back to the top 30 security uh, news analyze. So the reason I do this analysis is because it's good to keep up on the news. And of course, okay, so watching weekly videos, and maybe maybe they're not as timely. But I think I saw some of the topics as you saw the topics. They're very timely. Which is why I bumped it all the way to the top for now, and I may change that as I am always reviewing these sites. The other one that I liked, as soon as I got was Record.media, but I still like Daniel Miesler. Seems to be a little more esoteric though, so I may drop him a little bit, only because he's definitely top 10 caliber, maybe even top 5. But I'm looking for some specific items where I don't have to do a lot of work. He gives some information, but it's not as good as some of these, for example. Look at this. Hackers use fake NDAs to deliver malware to U.S. manufacturers. So this is very timely information, and it's not necessarily elsewhere. So I don't know if you've been on the uh, the circuit of all these websites for a while. For the longest time, I had SC Magazine, and Security Week is a older like rag. It just means that I've had it for a long time where it was in paper form. I call them rags. So Security Week is very old, actually. I've had it since the 90s. I used to get it. I think it was bi-weekly. I don't know if it was monthly. Anyway, It's been a while now. None of these guys do this stuff by paper anymore. I used to get a whole bunch of them. They would just come in the mail. I would have to fill out surveys every so often, and then they would just send it to you. So this is like a standard industry informational, like a website kind of deal now. So whereas in like the SE Magazine, Linux Security, whereas the offsec.blog gives you a little bit more insight into why you're being attacked, what's happening, how you can prevent it from happening. Whereas in the other ones, you'll know that they got attacked, and you'll have to figure out how that worked and how you can prevent it from happening. Hacker News was another one of those. Dark Reading is another one of those. I used to have Dark Reading #1 for a long time. Hacker News is a good site. I mean, it has a lot of information. As you know, this is cybersecurity. There's constant attacks, constant changes. There's always something going on. So you got to keep up on all this stuff to make sure that you're not being, your clients, your company is not being attacked. So that's the whole point of the top 30 security. So, and the reason I wanted to start making like a demon hunter thing, because we're like fighting the demons, the demons of the criminal attacks, or our own demons maybe sometimes, because we're trying to figure out how to make this work, how to help everyone within our own schedules, how to keep our positivity going, because this constant attacks is a tough thing to keep up on. So anyway, I mean, I don't want to belabor it. I'm gonna be working on this some more. I just wanted to make the big change in my mind. Offsec.blog will squeeze in #1 for a little while. I will have to check out some of the videos and see if it truly belongs there. I'll keep checking up on all the other ones, and of course, it means that I'm going to have to drop one of the, because these are all, I didn't change the numbers. I just added the #1, because I'm gonna, it's kind of in flux. So it's basically tied right now with Daniel Miessler's. But I'll be changing this very soon, where I'm only going to have 30, and one of them is going to drop. So I have to figure out which one to drop, which one isn't that timely anymore. And maybe that guy's actually been getting some good stuff, so I may have to move it up some more. Anyway, so that's all. That's kind of all I wanted to discuss. It's going to be a quick one today. Here's the big bumper music. I've got to get some sticks in. And we will see you next time. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to, whether you're, I'm going to be putting this on YouTube or your Rumble. So however it works, if you could do that for me, I would appreciate it, because it helps, promote the videos.